All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we're going to talk about something that is insanely bullish for Ethereum. This is really good for the overall technology of Ethereum and probably also the price itself. All right, we're going to look at some other big updates that have happened in the space since our live stream that we did yesterday. Again, we do these live streams Monday through Friday about 9:30 a.m. Central Time here on this channel. You can turn on notifications down below or just show back up here to catch those whenever we go live. So we're going to look at that. We'll look at the cryptocurrency markets, look at, the price updates, all that kind of stuff. So before we get into that, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step-by-step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. And last but not least, I'll try to say this at the beginning of the stream and not repeat it a billion times throughout this video, but this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy or sell any cryptocurrency based on this information. So let's get started. So got people in the chat here: Culture Hives, Yogesh, Khalil, Kamyok, Game Elevator, Tucker, Pro Trade Team, Josh. Welcome. All right, so let's jump in here. So the very first news that I want to talk about, which is pretty crazy. All right, I saw this come up yesterday. So I hit a lot of different news outlets. Is this? Let me share my screen here. So this is European Investment Bank issuing 2-year digital bonds on Ethereum through Goldman and others. All right. So what we see here is this screenshot from what looks like a Bloomberg terminal. Okay. You see this kind of breaking headline here that's talking about this. Of course, this hit Twitter first. Started going viral, and then hit major news outlets where they kind of these crypto news outlets where they started talking about this. So why is this such a big deal? Okay, so we talk a lot on this channel about Ethereum, being the front runner for a global settlement layer for a brand new financial world, right? We've seen the DeFi explosion happen over the past year or so. We've seen a lot of, crypto projects, come out of this. We get yield farm projects, anything you think about that's kind of being built in the traditional financial system. We're building crypto versions of these today and mostly dealing with, crypto assets themselves. But we're talking about Ethereum being in a really unique position to actually create this new brand new financial system that traditional finance can bridge over to and also build on top of. Okay. And here we're seeing this with this story. So we're talking about, European Investment Bank issuing 2-year digital bonds on Ethereum. Okay. So, this is really important also for the technology itself, because, I get questions on this channel a lot like, hey, what about these other layer 1 blockchains? Like, what about, this? What about that? Well, there's a reason that they chose to do this on top of Ethereum, right? And it's all the reasons I've been talking about on this channel. I mean, we don't have a clear statement from them about exactly why they chose it, but let's just get behind the reasoning, of some reasons that they're probably, holding this up. So, Ethereum is, it's got longevity to it. It's the most credibly neutral, decentralized public smart contract platform, right? It's got the most adoption, the most users, all that kind of stuff. Largest market cap for the cryptocurrency. That's really important because it helps access secure to the network to make it, fit for this, these industrial strength applications. So there's a reason they chose that and didn't, choose a fork of Ethereum that's just magically faster without, making sort of compromises, or another layer 1 blockchain that doesn't have smart contracts yet or something like that, right? So these are the types of things I've been saying for, forever on this channel, and you're starting to see this play out in real time. So this is huge news for ETH. It'll probably have a big impact on the price over time. Again, not financial advice, but that's just my opinion. So we can kind of see what happened with the prices. And yesterday, Ethereum hit a new all-time high. Okay. So let's take a look at here. So we're 2,712. So we're hovering, pretty close to that all-time high right now. We're firmly above $2,700. To tell you the truth, it would not surprise me if we saw a $3,000 ETH pretty soon with how things are kind of transpiring. We're starting to see ETH kind of break away from Bitcoin significantly. We can track that with the ETH to BTC ratio, so we'll pull that up right now. So this is the ratio of the Ethereum price to Bitcoin price. It essentially says, how much Bitcoin does it cost per 1 Ether? So you can see that here. All prices are ratios. So ETH to BTC ratio is at 0.04. Okay. So you can see like Ethereum to US dollar, that's what this price is. That's the Ethereum to US dollar ratio, is how many US dollars does it take to buy one Ether? 2,712. Well, how many Bitcoin does it take to buy one Ether? Well, 0.0496 currently. So when you see this ratio going up, that means that ETH is outperforming Bitcoin in terms of percentage returns. When you see this trend line going up, and that's what we're seeing here. And I expect this to happen as more of the big breakthroughs come up for ETH down the road. We've been talking about these a lot. We've got Uniswap version 3 launching in a matter of weeks at this point. And then, from every update that we've seen on this channel, them using layer 2 scaling solutions with optimism very soon after that. So, we could be less than a month away from layer 2 scaling with a major app like Uniswap. Now, we had to be cautious with that because we've seen some of these timelines get pushed back for sure. But it's a big deal. That's going to happen. We've got EIP 1559 happens, still scheduled for July, very likely to happen in July. We've got the merge from proof of stake into layer 1 Ethereum likely happening in 2021, maybe early 2022. So this is all huge stuff, okay? And as we start to see more and more of these things take place, I expect the price performance of ETH to really pick up as well. So yeah, all that being said, would not be surprising if we hit $3,000 very soon. We could see some temporary correction before then. With how shaky and volatile and over-leveraged these markets have been, it wouldn't surprise me if we kind of got close to that number, saw kind of another big leg down, but then kind of quickly made up to that 3K level. That's how ETH kind of tends to trade, though. If you look at its entire price history, we see that it's very volatile. It's way more volatile and jumpy than BTC is. So let's look at some more updates here. Some other things that are incredibly bullish for ETH that are also incredibly bullish for just the entire crypto space as a whole. Okay, so we've talked a lot about Visa on this channel and how they have an experiment with Crypto.com to actually use the Ethereum blockchain to implement payments, and why that's such a big deal for ETH and the entire space. So let me turn my notifications off here. But basically, Visa collaborated with Crypto.com to say, hey, we're going to let people use credit cards and make payments with, I think it's USDC, and basically pay merchants with cryptocurrency, but under the hood, we're actually going to use the blockchain. That's fundamentally different from how most crypto credit cards work, which basically let you hold crypto in an account and then they cash it out for fiat dollars at the point of sale. But Visa is using actual payment infrastructure to do that. A lot like the digital bond thing that we saw a minute ago, where they're actually issuing the digital bond on the new ETH financial rails. So we see more news from Visa here. So this came out yesterday. Yesterday. So Visa CEO says payment giant is moving into crypto in a very big way. Okay, so they don't call out ETH or Ethereum specifically in this channel, but we've already seen Visa really jump into these early experiments with Ethereum, like I was talking about, and they said that they're prepared to lean in even harder. So this is a huge deal. The payment giant Visa, okay, and if we saw anything close to this type of news, last year, 2 years before, or 2017, the market would have absolutely gone nuts, and that is really a testament to how far we've come with this entire space. For everybody who's brand new, maybe you weren't here in 2017, maybe you weren't here even before. Everybody, it was still a very small world, and any outside validation from big people, was huge. And it's starting to become more common. And one thing I think that's probably happening with new people is oh, this is normal. We see this. We saw Tesla buy Bitcoin. We saw, Visa launch something on top of Ethereum. We saw, MasterCard, this, that, and the other, right? We saw PayPal, cryptocurrency payment. This is all common stuff. No, this is not common stuff. Okay, this is all huge indicator that we're on this trajectory of adoption, this parabolic trajectory of adoption. Because if you go back and you've been watching this channel, you'll see oh, here's something big that happened, and then a week later, something big happens, and you're starting to see the frequency of these things go up, and also the concentration of them happening, at very, very similar point in time. Lots of coincidental incidences. So that all is an indicator of speed, and the fact that the frequency is actually getting tighter and tighter. It is basically a testament to parabolic adoption. I'll put it that way. So we've seen that with Visa. I've also seen on this channel that as Visa gets into this type of stuff, that will very likely see other payment giants follow suit and try to get their slice of the pie too. And so we see that here with MasterCard. Okay, so MasterCard to launch a new crypto rewards credit card this summer. So they partner with Gemini, this exchange. So Gemini is a cryptocurrency platform. So Gemini is the cryptocurrency exchange based out of New York, Winklevoss twins. So crypto, basically offering crypto rewards on purchases. So up to 3% back, real-time rewards on annual fee. So it's just like a regular credit card, but this is still MasterCard jumping in the space, payment giant, big validation for cryptocurrencies in general. Doesn't look like the same type of thing where, like as Visa trying to use actual payment rails, but this is still a clear indication that they're taking crypto seriously. It might just be their first efforts into doing something like this. So it's also really bullish for the space. I mean, again, if MasterCard had offered a crypto rewards credit card in 2017, the market would have gone nuts. But this is something that's, this is something that's becoming more and more commonplace. But I want to call out how really important that is for new people who may not quite understand the what a big deal it is. So another thing to look at is if you want to see the growth of the space is USDC adoption. I saw this come out yesterday as well. So USDC is a stable cryptocurrency whose price doesn't change. It's a fiat-backed stable coin, which basically means you can always redeem USDC tokens for dollars, and there's actually dollars that back it up. And you can see the USD supply growth here. I mean, it's absolutely insane. So USD supply started the year at 4 billion. It's grown by more than 10 billion and currently stands at 14.2 billion, all right, as per this data from the block. Okay, sorry, that kind of chops off my screen here. But yeah, I mean, this is also a pretty good indicator of growth of the space. I mean, USDC is primarily used on Ethereum. I believe it's got some support on other chains. But the total, the big deal here is seeing this happen on top of ETH. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, we're seeing metrics like this all the time that just look like absolute hockey sticks. I mean, this is a testament of adoption. You see this kind of thing happen. I mean, if you're like an investor, this is your favorite curve on the face of the planet. You know what I mean? We see this sort of slow rise and then boom. And if you were here, then this is like the sweet spot, right? So we see this with internet adoption. We see it with all types of things. Everybody wants, all the VCs, they're looking for hockey stick growth. And the cool thing about crypto is you could just be your own VC basically and realize those same returns that are typically only accessible to, elite players in the traditional financial world. Either you got to have a lot of money or you got to have the right connections or both. And the cool thing about crypto is it decentralizes that. So we see a lot more with... Let's see here. We're seeing a lot more with NFTs as well. So we're talking about a lot of DeFi on this channel, but NFTs are still not going anywhere. And we can look at CryptoPunks as kind of an index of this. So CryptoPunks are one of the original NFTs on top of Ethereum. They even predate the ERC 721 standard, which most tokens follow now. And we're starting to see... this go up like crazy, okay? And basically the floor for CryptoPunk pricing is now like $60,000. So if you go see all the CryptoPunks for sale, they list the floor price right here. Yeah, it's about $60,000. Okay, so this has gone up like an insane amount. So this is kind of you can see that you can use this as kind of an index for the top tier NFTs, crypto collectibles. Of course, we did see CryptoPunks selling at Christie's. And this likely had a big impact on the actual price of those as well. So that's something I want to call out as NFTs definitely haven't gone anywhere. Are they in a bubble? Probably still. For the long term, are these things likely to rise in value over time? I think so, and we're seeing that happen in real time. It's crazy, CryptoPunks were basically free a year ago, and now they're worth, $60,000. That's crazy. Just the cheapest ones. I mean, the highest punks, we can see them on screen here. Highest ones on screen here are like, and it usually chops off the price. It's like millions of dollars. I can't even read it. Okay, so another thing I want to check out here is I haven't even looked at this fully. So I'm going to kind of look at it here with you on screen, but I did see this come up yesterday. I want to kind of call it out so that you all can take a look at this. Again, I don't even understand everything that's going on here, but I want to bring it up and talk about it on the stream today because I think this is definitely something important to check out. So this is a Compound Cash. So this is introducing the gateway. So Compound Finance is a super important Dapp. They were really one of the earliest in DeFi in terms of like the lending, like deposit and borrow. You know, Compound actually was the first Dapp on top of Ethereum that was a huge light bulb moment for me for why Dapps were super important in the first place. Because when I first started this, you know, back in 2017, early 2018, like we were kind of like, we saw the power of smart contracts. We saw that you could create cryptocurrencies on top of Ethereum without creating your own blockchain. That was amazing. We saw that you could do ICOs, and we realized that, like, you know, this was the future. We could do stuff with money, but we weren't quite sure what, you know, and we weren't quite sure, you know, how that was going to work. And that's just the nature of brand new technology. You're kind of like bumping into walls. You're in a dark room trying to turn light switches on. That's the nature of innovation. And Compound Finance was one of the first applications where I was like, oh wow, that's like what we can do with this, and this is how people use it, and this provides, you know, benefits to end users. So Compound's are an incredibly important project. All right. So, anyways, but this thing that I saw come out here was introducing the Compound Gateway. So, open distributed ledger for cross-chain interest rate markets. So this looks like it's related to their Compound chain. Again, I'm mostly just looking at these details for the first time here, so I may miss some things on screen here. But the bullet points are one market, so interest, collateral, and borrowing, starting with Ethereum assets capable of including any blockchain asset. So cash is king. Interest is earned and paid in dollars using cash, Gateway's native unit of full account. So this is probably the own cryptocurrency based on this actual ledger itself. So network validation, so comp token holders appoint validators who earn a portion of all cash, validator rewards, and security scales the market size. So we've been seeing, you know, talk about Compound chain, quote unquote, for a while. And that's basically what I think this is. It's basically a ledger that lets them do the very similar types of things that Compound has now, but also bridge to other chains. And I've seen lots of talk from Compound about sort of their bet on the multi-chain world, and that looks like sort of their putting their money where their mouth is with something like this. So I don't know a lot about this beyond that, but I wanted to bring it up because Compounds is such an important app, and this looks like one of their next big plays. So let's see here. Another thing to look at is we're seeing more news from... sorry, this link is taking a second to load on my screen here. Another big thing that is big deal for ETH, and I should have talked about this at the beginning of the video, but we saw this report come out with JP Morgan yesterday. So, you know, it's taken a long time for ETH to basically become a household name where people take it really seriously. Like, we've seen this happen really in a matter of months, where ETH has sort of been elevated from this status of penny stock, you know, altcoin, you know, we're not sure what to do with this thing. Like, can people take it seriously? All the way up to basically really important people making big bets on ETH, okay? And of course, you know, if you've been watching this channel, we've been betting on ETH big time for a long time because, you know, I personally have been up close and personal, like watching this technological innovation happen, watching all this crazy stuff take off. But now we're starting to see people like JP Morgan talk about, you know, headlines, why is ETH outperforming? Okay. So this is not something we would have really seen taken seriously in years prior, but this is also other big, really bullish stuff for ETH. Just kind of give you, you know, some more evidence for how bigger names are taking it very seriously. You know, we've seen Bitcoin kind of rise to this level of institutional grade asset over the past year. And ETH is very close behind it, in my opinion. You know, I think we're going to see more and more people kind of pile into ETH, which will likely have a huge impact on the price because institutions buy in size much more than retail investors. And likely we're already seeing, like, they probably have lots of institutions that are already purchasing ETH. even if they're not publicly traded, so you don't see those disclosures come out. And we also have, we saw another big Bitcoin buy as well. So this was for $100 million. So this is also pretty good evidence of, bull market continuing, at least institutions betting on bull market continuing from here. So we see, sorry, I just click the wrong thing all the time. South Korean, Japanese video game publisher NEXON made a $100 million purchase of Bitcoin. Okay, so it's a pretty big deal. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about, let's look at some on-chain metrics for how we're doing with the Bitcoin price. So let's go back and actually check the Bitcoin price right now. Kind of see where we are to kind of get a temperature for the long-term market health. So Bitcoin is now at 54,000. So it's been slight bearishness, but it looks like we're kind of maybe seeing some consolidation here. Honestly, some consolidation would be good, in my opinion, because it would allow, some time for maybe some lower cap coins to make some gains, rather than the whole market just dumping from fear of Bitcoin dumping. Okay. So I'd like to see some sideways chop for a while. I think that would help us, gain stability. I saw somebody say about yesterday where they feel like the market is really coiled and ready to just snap. That could be what's happening as well. So, sideways chop could help prepare us for that too. Let's look at some actual on-chain metrics, okay? See what's happening with the Bitcoin supply, profit in terms of profit and loss. So we'll look at the net unrealized profit loss here. We're at 0.6. Let's just check it. Let me pull my screen over. Kill this. So our nipple metric as of yesterday is 0.64. Okay, so we jumped up quite a bit. We bottomed out here at 0.6. So we're at 0.64. Okay. But at a price of $54,000. So last time we were at 0.64 was here, and we were at $33,000. Okay, so like we're at the same nipple metric at almost twice the price. I mean, not quite, but like almost. So this is really healthy, because that means whenever we get a nupal, the same nupal value at a higher price point, it means we have more headroom before we hit the euphoric territory. And historically speaking, anytime we've crossed the euphoric line, we've gone down for a long time. It's usually been a signal for a bear market. So the big picture here is we don't want to cross into blue territory. And when we've seen this sort of chop and these corrections, it gives us more headroom before we can actually do that. So that's bullish to me. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at some questions here in the chat. Somebody says coil market equals time to buy more ETH. Yeah, maybe. Except somebody says 30K ETH not out of the picture. Wouldn't complain if we reached 75K. Oh, hey, I'd be very happy if we reached 75,000. I'd be happy if we reached $30,000. I'd be happy if we reached $10,000. Somebody says Nupal is not an on-chain metric, right? So Nupal is. So basically, I mean, it uses price data as well, but it actually does analyze the actual Bitcoin wallets itself. So for that reason, it does use on-chain data to derive that insight. So somebody says Polygon is using rollups for scaling. Who is using Optimism? So Uniswap is still announced to use Optimism. So that's a big deal. I've always said for a long time, like whatever Uniswap decides to use will likely have a huge influence on what the market actually does in terms of other dApps. I do think we'll see a diversity of scaling solutions. I think that is healthy to have a couple different choices, but I think we'll see it consolidate around a few different scaling solutions, because you still want to be decentralized, because layer 2 is not Ethereum. Okay, layer 2 derives its security from Ethereum, but if we're building on top of ETH, we still want more than one choice. You know what I mean? So you want to be decentralized. Somebody says we're already pretty high up on the moving average in ETH. So I don't have a 2021 price prediction. Somebody says tomorrow's video, ETH is in trouble. It might be. So which platform is for flash loans? So it depends. There's lots of different ones. You can use Aave for flash loans. It's probably the easiest way to start. So what's the best layer 2 solution? So the market will decide what the best layer 2 solution is. It's not always the one that has the best technical benefits. It's the one that gets the most adoption, in my opinion. So that being said, we will likely see, it seems like the prevailing wisdom is that roll-up technology is the better short-term solution, and that zero-knowledge-based solutions are better for the long term, okay? So the reason that a lot of these roll-up technologies are probably better for the short term is it's just easier, okay? Because developers aren't changing their code, they can just port it over. They will rely upon some trust, but zero-knowledge-based solutions will be harder to implement, but they rely less upon trust over time. And so there are lots of theories that say that that's where we'll head, and that's what we want to do long term, but we'll see. The thing about when you do stuff with the blockchain is like all the versions typically stay out there and live for a long time and until people migrate. So you see that with like Uniswap. I mean, Uniswap v1 still exists. Every time Uniswap makes a version change, they just put a new version out there, and the old one's still there. So I realize something that requires more active maintenance may not stay alive for quite as long, but we'll probably see that with layer 2 scaling solutions as well. We're like, we'll still have the old thing on chain, and then here's the new thing. So let's see here. Sorry, I keep trying to read the chat, and it moves on me so fast. Somebody says, which platform for flash loans? I feel like they've asked that question several times, but if you want a quick answer, you can check out Aave. Okay, let's see here. So the chat moving like so fast, it's hard for me to see. Somebody says dance monkey. So ETH is the most adoption? Yeah, basically. All right, everybody. So that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so more people can learn about blockchain. If you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, how can you get your hands dirty, get started today? Well, you can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find any of my free courses there, like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. If you like those, you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you'll take a master shortcut entirely. I can show you how to become a blockchain master step by step, start to finish, over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. All right, you don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real world blockchain developers in a matter of months. All right, so that's all I've got. And until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.